Conservation of matter. Matter is all around us. It is in the air we breathe, the ground we walk on, the food we eat, and you. In fact, anything that has mass and takes up space is matter. All matter is made up of atoms, which are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. These tiny particles, though small, have mass. The matter around us is constantly changing. Some of it is just changing its form, moving from one state of matter to another, like an ice cube melting. Others are changing completely into a new form of matter with different physical and chemical properties than what they start with. We can see this when chlorine gas combines with solid sodium and a new substance, sodium chloride, otherwise known as table salt, is formed. During these changes, the atoms themselves do not just disappear, they just rearrange into different compounds. This is known as the law of conservation of matter, which states that matter cannot be created or destroyed during a physical or chemical change. In the case of the melting ice cube, the total amount of the dihydrogen monoxide does not change. It just moves from a solid form to a liquid form. Scientists use chemical equations to represent what is happening during a physical or chemical change. The chemical equation used to represent the combining of chlorine gas and sodium to form sodium chloride is represented as Na plus Cl2 yields NaCl, where the reactants are on the left and the products are on the right. There's something wrong with this equation. Can you figure out what the problem is? Remember, the law of conservation of matter states that matter cannot be created or destroyed. According to the equation, there is one atom of sodium on the left of the equation and one atom of sodium on the right of the equation. However, as we look at chlorine, the subscript 2 after the Cl indicates that there are 2 atoms of chlorine on the left and only 1 atom of chlorine on the right. The chlorines do not match. We need to balance the equation so that we have the same number of atoms of each element on the left as we do on the right. We do that by adding coefficients to the equation. A coefficient is a number placed in front of the molecule or compound that states how much of that molecule or compound you have. By placing a 2 in front of the NaCl, we are stating that there are 2 compounds of NaCl in the equation. That means that there are now 2 atoms of chlorine and 2 atoms of sodium on the right. Now we have 2 atoms of chlorine on the left and 2 atoms of chlorine on the right. However, we now only have 1 atom of sodium on the left and 2 atoms of sodium on the right. We need to add a coefficient of 2 on the left in front of the sodium to indicate 2 sodium atoms in the equation. Now we have 2 sodium atoms on the left and 2 sodium atoms on the right. This equation now follows the law of conservation of matter. These chemical equations can also help represent the conservation of mass. The law of conservation of mass states that the total mass of the reactants is the same as the total mass of the products. In this open system, the starting mass was 73.3 grams and the ending mass was 72.6 grams. Where did 0.6 of the mass go? The mass didn't just disappear. Instead, 0.6 grams of gas escaped into the air. If this was a closed system, the gas would have remained in the system and the ending mass would have been 73.3 grams. Let's review. The law of conservation of matter states that matter cannot be created or destroyed during a physical or chemical change. Chemical equations are used to represent what is happening during a physical and chemical change. The law of conservation of mass states that the total mass of the reactants is the same as the total mass of the products. Coefficients tell you how much of the molecule, a subscript tells you how much of the atom within a compound. And the conservation of matter shows that what you have on the left is equal to the right. The conservation of mass shows the total you have on the left equals the total on the right. Thank you for watching another Adventures in ISTEM and Beyond video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more Adventures in ISTEM and Beyond videos. For more ideas on how to incorporate science, technology, and skills for life into your classroom, go to adventuresinistem.com.